At the Heavenly Star Academy, teacher Chu Zian showcases his powers to the students while they wonder which move did the teacher use this time, and that it's even more powerful than the last one. Yizing even comments that it's getting hard to breathe while witnessing the technique closely. The teacher says that the students will be able to learn how he transformed a little later, but first, the class must proceed. As it went on, dragon horns and scales started to grow on his body. A few moments later, the teacher explains that they are all pupils enrolled in the Heavenly Star Academy, and so they will be taught martial arts. He even emphasizes how martial arts experienced innumerable evolutions since ancient times. Finally, only the three most powerful martial arts remain, namely, Flame Martial Arts, Dragon Martial Arts, and Star Martial Arts. The teacher assumes that the students have probably figured out by now from the changes on his body that he's a dragon user. Dragon arts users have dragon blood inheritance, stimulating the dragon blood. It hardens the body and provides the cultivator with formidable strength. The teacher punches the boulder to state an example, and a hole appears. The students then wonder how this could happen. All of the students start saying that the teacher is amazing, asking to teach them that move, and they didn't know that the teacher was so strong. On the other hand, the teacher thinks to himself that these twerps get so overhyped by something so basic. One of the students asks whether Dragon Arts is the most powerful of all three arts, including the Flame Arts and Star Arts. The teacher reveals that the Dragon Arts is not exactly the strongest since it's actually pretty common. Flame Arts, on the other hand, is considered stronger. He also explains how a Dragon Artist can only defeat the Flame Artist of the same rank in hand-to-hand combat. But generally, Flame Artists can manage both short and long-range attacks. Once you're hit by the fire of a Flame Artist, even if you attempt to run away, you won't be able to escape the control of the Flame Artist. One of the students mocks the teacher by saying that it makes sense if Dragon Artists aren't the strongest, since if he were the strongest, he wouldn't be teaching. Zing mentions that the teacher did talk about the strengths and weaknesses of both Dragon and Flame users but said nothing about Star Artists. And so, he continues to ask about Star Martial Artists. Because of Zing's question, the teacher abruptly assumes that he might be a Star user. In the background of the conversation, two students talk about how the teacher probably doesn't want to talk about Star Artists because Dragon Artists could be the weakest of the bunch. The teacher does get annoyed and bonks them hard on the head until bumps protrude from the top of their heads. Also, the teacher explains that among all three martial artists, Star users are rather unique. The cultivating star power grants the user different skills, depending on the star. Zing follows up with another question about what he meant by unique. He further explains the types of powers like healing, haste, and how these users can easily defeat any enemy. Zing, with a smile on his face, exclaims how the star users aren't weak and how they are quite strong. The teacher replies to Zing's statement with not really, because in the past, there had been several formidable star users, but as time went by cultivation methods got lost and the number of star users declined drastically. The students start talking about how the Star Martial Arts is trash while the other student warns him to not say such stuff unless he wants to get beaten up. The teacher further explains that a Star Arts user goes against the will of the heavens, but since Star Arts users can't inherit any technique, there are only very few cultivators who have received the 9th Heavenly Layer realm. Zing becomes a bit disappointed and discouraged. Seeing that, the teacher whispers to him as he passes by Zing, saying that there's no need to look like that because any cultivator who has trained till the high level boundary can erupt with extremely formidable strength. Moreover, the teacher advises Zing to practice as much as he can. Later on, the teacher asks the students to get ready because he needs to go to make some arrangements for the test. Surely, the students have already taken the physical test during their admittance, hence, they need to prepare themselves for 2 hours for the talent test. Zing clenches his fist and gets determined to work hard and train. When the teacher leaves, a student named Liang Yu speaks up and asks everyone to shut up. Liang Yu reveals that that day is the first day in the Heavenly Star Academy. They will be classmates. Many of the students come from noble houses and some from the subordinate provinces, however. No matter where they come from, the students have to understand that from that day onwards, Liang Yu himself is the boss of the class and every matter of the class will be decided by him. He further confirms if everyone understands with a scary look in his eyes. One of the students talks about Liang Yu's background of how he came from a major family, which is only second to the City Lord's mansion. They also mention how Heavenly Ancestors City has 6 towns on its borders, and all 6 are their fiefs. Several of the students sitting around him are also from House Dark Moon. Other students consider Liang Yu rather arrogant. When Zing hears House Dark Moon, a bell rings in his head. Liang Yu wonders if there's anybody who dares to look the House Dark Moon in the eye. When he looks at Zing, he feels that it's a familiar face, so he approaches Zing. Liang Yu asks him to lift his head up, and when he does, he gets asked about his name. As Xing reveals his name, he gets kicked by Liang Yu onto the ground, scaring other students. Liang Yu asks how dare Xing speak to him in such a tone and talks to him while sitting down. He reveals that Xing belongs to the Azure Feather family and that the family is full of slaves serving the House of Dark Moon. Xing gets beaten up again as he tries to stand up. To add more insult, Liang Yu asks him who said he could get up. He also demanded Xing to never forget his own status and told him that he should kneel in the presence of a lord as he speaks to him. And Zuyuan from House Eternal Heaven interrupts the scene while saying that Liang Yu has gone way too far this time. Liang Yu wonders why Zuyuan is teaching him how to treat his serfs, and asks her if it's a practice at the House Eternal Heaven to fight for mere slaves. She explains that even if Xing is a Dark Moon serf, he doesn't have to bully him in here and that he'd be able to raise his head in Heavenly Star Academy after this incident. Liang Yu considers the statement a slave wants to raise his head rather funny. He also puts his shoulder around Xing, saying that he got lucky because a beautiful woman stood up for him, and for that, he won't continue kicking him. But just when everyone thought that Liang Yu is done, he adds that if Xing kneels down and bow to him 3 times, he won't further pursue an even worse scene. Liang Yu states that there are many ways to deal with the likes of Xing and slaves must bend to their master, and there's no shame in that. And Zuyuan stops him again, but Liang Yu only laughs while saying that he was already merciful in that state, thanks to Zuyuan's intervention. Xing tries to stand up as if he's got something to say. Liang Yu slaps his cheek and asks if Xing is going to kneel or not. Liang Yu also challenges him if he wants to fight back. He holds Xing from the top of his head while Zuyuan tries her best to stop him. Liang Yu advises her to mind her own business in this Heavenly Star Academy or he'll have to take care of her as well. Suddenly, she tells him that the teacher's coming back. Just a few seconds later, Liang Yu lets go of Xing, saying that he just got lucky but they'll continue the lesson again later. And Zuyuan walks up to him asking if he's doing fine. The teacher is back, and when he looks at Xing, he finds the situation rather funny. He then asks Xing how he got his wounds. The teacher asks what's going on while the other students are ready to teach Liang Yu a good lesson. Some other students find the fight between Xing and Liang Yu rather fun. Just when Zuyuan was about to tell the teacher what happened, Xing interrupts and says that he fell down by himself, titling it an accident. All the students get shocked, but the teacher has nothing else to say after this. He then explains that the exam will test the students' martial art talent and asks them to prepare. Liang Yu grins while passing by Xing, saying that he's a smart boy. Xing breaks down to the ground, clenching his fist again with tears in his eyes, saying that he's super weak. When one of his tears falls down to the ground, Xing notices a weird phenomenon happening. He gets transported to another dimension without any clothes, where he sees a giant gate and hears its creak as it opens. Inside the gate, there's a lake where Xing tries to have a look. Suddenly a blast occurs in the water, reaching the sky, turning into a fireball. The fireball keeps on getting bigger and looks dangerous. So to avoid it, Xing starts running while wondering where the heck he is. Xing realizes the fireball is approaching him, and later on, he'll get hit if he continues running like this. Presently, the students are meditating and preparing for the test. Meanwhile, Liang Yu talks about how Xing is so timid as a mouse. A mere glance at him and he wouldn't say a thing. There's no way that a trashed house like Xing could rat on him. From a distance, Xing's eyes are opened while he's panting. The students wonder what's wrong with him. Knowing how he's a coward, they thought that he must have gone crazy. Liang Yu looks back at him and wonders how Xing is super scared of him. Xing regains consciousness and wonders what happened, and why did it feel like he entered another world while it felt so real. The teacher asks the student to not dawdle, and it's finally time to go for the test. All the students get up and get ready to leave for the test. Just like that, Xing also gets up until he gets approached by one of the students who greet him. Xing thought that he's there to make fun of him, and so he reassures the other kid that he's already used to stuff like that. But the student counters that he's not there to laugh at Xing. He talks about if Lady Anne had wanted him to kneel down to her, then what choice would he have, since Branch family members will always have no other choice, although he says that Zuyuan is very kind-hearted in nature and would never make him kneel. The student also says that the people who laughed at Xing are nothing but reckless people with no concern, and do not have any care for others. To hold back his anger while under ridicule from his classmates requires true courage. Before the student stretches out his hand towards Xing to introduce himself as Lin Hong from Anyang Town, he states how it would have been easy to denounce Liang Yu. But to hold back anger while being ridiculed was indeed courage. He then asks Xing to be friends with him, and they reach the palace together where the exam will be conducted. Xing believes that the palace is great, and he feels a bit anxious since he has no idea what kind of exam it will be. Heavenly Star Academy is not an average place. A few seconds later, the vice principal of the institute demands silence and introduces himself as Zhu. He explains the rules of the academy while telling the students that on each table, they will find 7 red soul crystals that they have to sense with their minds. Children who can sense 2 red soul crystals are qualified to attend classes, while those who can sense 3 crystals have excellent talents. And lastly, children who can sense 4 crystals have the makings of a genius. The vice principal explains that that day is their chance to prove themselves, and if they can't sense the crystals, they will have to further train for a year to come back. When the vice principal asks the teacher to start the exam, the teacher orders the students to put their hands 2 inches above the 7 soul crystals and attempt to sense the crystals. Hey there guys, before we continue, if you've reached this far I highly doubt you don't enjoy it, so don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And let's get back to it. The test begins and one of the students has sensed 3 soul crystals quickly. The judges, including the vice principal, talk about how the kid has a nice talent and would make a fine pupil. Liang Yu on the other hand considers everyone a dumbass and tries to light up crystals, resulting in lighting up 3 crystals. 3 crystals are worthy of the title of House Dark Moon's young master. Liang Yu explains that he can do a lot better, putting all his mind's force into the crystals. So, he ended up lighting 4 crystals. Liang Yu says that a 5th soul crystal didn't shine, but he could surely sense it. And Zhu on the other hand was able to sense 5 soul crystals. And for that, the judges consider her rare and amazing. The vice principal explains that the young lady is from House Eternal Heaven and that she was quite extraordinary with how 5 crystals shine. He even adds how the kid's talent can only be found once in 100 years. Xing finds it awesome too. Some of the kids sense 3 crystals and 2 crystals, and it finally is Lin Hong's turn to light the crystals up. Lin Hong puts his hand on the table while the judges talk about branch children are certain to fare worse. However, he was able to light up 3 crystals. Xing's turn came and he was not able to light up even 1 soul crystal. Upon seeing that he couldn't light up a single crystal, Xing felt lost. Lin Hong asks what's the matter with him and why is there no response. Liang Yu then starts laughing crazily while saying that Xing is indeed a waste, that he couldn't even light up a single soul crystal. He even exaggerates how he almost died of laughter. One of the judges mentions how they have never seen a case like this where the student is unable to light up a single crystal. Liang Yu approaches Xing and starts saying how could someone like Xing, who is unable to pass the test, be in the Heavenly Star Academy, asking him to go back to his place while calling him a farm boy. Xing believes that this can't be true and is utterly impossible. In the background, he hears voices saying what a joke, this guy wants to study martial arts in the Heavenly Star Academy, haha, go home and get out, trash. Xing holds his head asking the voices to be quiet. Lin Hong holds Xing by the shoulders and asks him to relax while telling him to cheer up a little and not to be discouraged. He gets worried and shares that he's unable to feel the soul crystals. Lin Hong advises him to try again while saying that he doesn't need to mind others and to just focus on the soul crystals, and he wasn't able to light them all up because Xing was quite anxious. Xing tries again to light the crystals up while putting all of his force into the crystals. Lin Hong notices that Xing is putting so much pressure on the crystals. On the other hand, Liang Yu considers Xing useless and no matter how hard he tries, he's going to fail. Xing screams he won't give up until the very end, he's going to do it. Lin Hong notices that Xing activated 3 soul crystals already. The vice principal was just observing and concluded that Xing might just be really anxious during his first try to the point that he was unable to light the soul crystals. Liang Yu notices that Xing has activated not 1, 2, or 3 but 4 crystals. Lin Hong gets happy for Xing. The judges consider Xing a rare kid with rare talent, and it would have already been excellent for a branch family kid to activate 3 soul crystals, but to see this much, the judge is surprised. Liang Yu gets furious and says that Xing is a mere star user, so how could he be as strong as him, stating how Xing probably just got lucky. But then, the vice principal explains that it has nothing to do with luck. A few moments later, Xing puts more focus on sensing the crystals, and so he ends up lighting 6 soul crystals, leaving everyone shocked. And that's the end of part 1 of our Star Martial God Technique recap. Let us know in the comments which manga you'd like us to recap next. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification. We'll see you on the next one.